Hi, Mel.
Hi, Del. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So it's a good vibe today. It's really
Mm-hmm.
loose, relaxed, just asking
Okay.
you a few questions. We
All
want to
right.
get to know you as a DJ.
Mm.
So you are Mel-T. So
Yes.
first, tell us how Mel-T came about. Why
Oh my.
Mel-T?
Actually, it started when I actually started playing abroad.
Uh-huh.
And I have a few friends who would also call me Trini,
Right.
right? So, Mel being my name. And I'm like, okay, I need the Mel to have a ring to it. And Mel Trini came to mind. I'm like, And I think when I communicated with friends back home, because this would have been while I would have been abroad, communicated with friends home, and somehow the Mel T came to mind. And one of my friends said, melt in your mouth, not in your hands. And I'm like, okay, actually, I like the ring that Mel plays
Right.
with that one word. So that's it. The rest is
Right.
history. So
So
it really is supposed to represent where I'm from.
right. Okay.
The
So T
T.
is for Trini. So it's not part of your surname.
No, everybody asks, so what's your middle name? What's it? No,
Right.
nothing like that.
Okay, all right. So tell us more about your DJ journey. Like, how did you get into DJing? Why DJing?
I know. So DJing is interesting because I never saw myself doing it. It's not something I sat and say, oh, I want to be a DJ one day. However, I loved music. I really appreciated different genres. If I go way back when, I used to write little songs,
Right.
create beats and melodies in my head. But I will blame it on lack of representation because it was the furthest thing from my mind,
Right.
honestly. And how I started, I was actually studying abroad, as
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned. And I would go dancing. So I love to dance. I started with dance first in the Latin dance social
Right.
circuit. And I would go to their Thursday class or Thursday social,
Mm-hmm.
and they had the same 10 songs on repeat. And then I just offered music. I said, I have some songs, would you
Right.
like some? And that turned into me playing
Nice.
and playing at one event. And then it really became a thing away from home.
Right. Okay.
And then I would say a friend of mine who would usually play in Trinidad
Mm-hmm.
for our Latin events here, he was like, wait, you can't be DJing across there and not do it
Yeah.
here.
Right.
So when I came to visit home for Christmas, he just put me on the flyer, just like that. And I'm like, okay. And what kept me going would be the feedback. The
Right.
feedback I got from people, and I realized, okay, yeah, I enjoy doing it one.
Right.
And then I didn't get bad feedback, so
Right.
I'm doing something good. And the rest is history. It just kept going from there,
Oh,
honestly.
nice. So
Yeah.
it kind of grew organically then.
It did. Oh,
Right.
definitely. And so much to the point where I felt like it was going faster than I was actually ready or I felt prepared for.
Right.
Where, then you're getting calls, oh, Mel, we'd like you to play here and play. And I'm like, oh, wait, hold up. I just started, I just start giving some time. But that actually is what pushed me to do a lot more courses in it because I said, and we could get into this with the whole part of being a female DJ. I'm like, listen, I don't want anybody to say because
Right.
so I
Yeah.
made sure I did about 3 different DJ courses,
Right.
so that I could make sure I have that background, that knowledge
Mm-hmm.
to support what I do.
Right.
Yeah.
So like we'll go into that now actually.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a deep dive.
Right.
So have you ever gotten any kind of feedback from people to say, well, she getting through because she's a woman or because she's pretty or because she can dance, So how have you ever experienced anything like that? Or do you think like your gigs came about because, people just saw you as a DJ?
Right. So that's very interesting. I think in the beginning, definitely, just because as I would have been a DJ and I was doing a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But as the growth happened, I saw more cases like that. And sometimes people won't say it directly, but once you know, and then I would hear it through somebody else. Oh yeah, people say you would get these gigs because
Right.
and then within the Latin space, I still am the only female in this space.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it is that way across the board, like all the time. There will be moments, and there will be people where sometimes I know they would think about it. But what I try to do is just let my work, stand on its own, speak for
Right.
itself. So really and truly, you hire me because I do a good job. I play a good set,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an added bonus that I may look good doing it,
Right.
but
Yeah.
hopefully it's not. I don't think it's the main driving. At least I think so.
Right.
You know.
Right. Okay. So tell us more about your journey. Have you encountered any challenges along the way in terms of whether it's learning, the DJ equipment, because you said it came about quite organically. Have
Yes.
you encountered a party where maybe perhaps, I don't know, like reading the crowd? I know sometimes that's difficult,
I
trying to
know.
gauge
Okay.
like where you
Hmm.
are, maybe even figuring out yourself because you came from a Latin space
Right.
and fitting into a Trinbagonian space now is quite
Yes,
different.
it is. So in recent years, I started to focus more, and you would have noticed this
Hmm.
on local events and actually showing people, listen, I play more than just Latin music.
Right.
I will say though, my growth in the Latin space, it really has been very rewarding.
Hmm.
And I remember even opportunities to play abroad because I played in Miami, got an opportunity to play in New York and Atlanta.
Right.
And every time I do those sets, I'm just like, wait, how I even get to this point? But it's again just showing up, doing what I have to do, and then referrals, people seeing me. Now in the local space, that is a bit, it's more challenging. I'm still trying to find my way
Right.
in that space. So reading the crowd on a Latin dance scene or a Latin dance set, that is very easy. By
Right.
now I know my friends, what people like to dance to, and I could see it easily. And what we do a lot of in that space is introduce new music.
Right. Okay.
And so you on the hunt for this song, yes, I'm going to play this tonight. And then you see people face that will light up. They're like, oh, what song is that? And they come
Right.
very, very different to what I find sometimes now in the general
Yeah.
um local
General party scene.
party
Yeah.
scene,
Yeah.
people looking for the hits, right?
Yeah.
And I would do that and you could, but I actually also like the idea of just dropping something that somebody never heard and they would be like, okay, what song is this? I never
Hmm.
heard this. But you bump into it and you're enjoying it. And I do think a big part of what DJs do would be that, or should be.
Hmm. Should be.
Should be. Should be, but it doesn't always happen like that.
Yeah.
So sometimes as well in that circuit or the local dance circuit, I do find it harder to read crowds.
Hmm.
Um, but depending on where I am, I think I have a good handle on it. I do remember one let me see. We all have like bad experiences now
Yeah.
and then.
Yeah. For
And I
sure.
do remember like one. And it was a boat ride, I think. My
Hmm.
first, not the first boat ride, because I remember my first boat ride was good at the time. But this one in particular, I don't know, something felt very off. And my set felt very off. And and I
Hmm.
think
Yeah.
sometimes when you're behind it, I feel like, okay, this is not, I'm not feeling this. Something is off
Yes.
with this one. But I do think it was a case where I allowed nerves to get to me
Uh-huh.
in that set because I played with Alicia the Duchess. I think it would have been one of her events.
Right.
And it was not the first time I played with her on a lineup,
Right.
but that particular one where I think she invited me to one of hers, and I was just like, Mel, I don't think you did well here at all, at all. And maybe I really didn't because she didn't call
Call
me
you
back.
back.
But that would have been one of those occasions,
Right.
but I think it really would have been nerves.
Right.
And another time, it was the first time somebody attempted a boiler room concept
Right. Uh-huh.
locally,
Uh-huh.
which it's nice. I like it. And they asked me to play first,
Right.
and when you're the first DJ, the challenge with that, which I think I do well in most times,
Uh-huh.
you work on playing to an empty floor, more or
Mhm.
less, and then seeing people strolling in and then probably getting the vibe and just, you're warming things
Yeah.
up for the other DJ. So then in that instance, it was very hard for me to be like, okay, what these people want to hear right now?
Right.
So
Right.
I think with that said, I played more of an Afrobeat set.
Mhm.
Same thing, very nervous, light in my face. I can't really see the crowd behind me, but I just went with the vibe. And different people in the crowd came to say, they enjoyed my set. And this
Mhm.
is the other confusing thing.
Mhm.
Maybe you could share more about this with your experience. The audience, sometimes I get little bits of, yeah, it would have been good. But then when I speak to other DJs,
Right.
they said, oh, very clean. But a close friend of mine, you could tell like the vibe wasn't
Wasn't
there,
quite
and
there.
that I
Yeah.
need to do more things like that to come out.
Right. Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. I sometimes I find crowds very challenging,
Yes.
especially when you can't see them,
Yeah.
when the lights in your face, you're seeing some subtle movement, but you're not quite sure if they're just
True.
dancing out of
True.
politeness,
Hope
so
they be
yeah,
nice, yes.
yeah, it is challenging. So what do you think is, or for you, what is the most challenging part of being a DJ?
Mm.
Especially we're talking as a woman, female identified DJ
Right.
in a Trinbagonian space? What's the most challenging thing
Oh,
for you?
okay, there are few. I think the main challenge is just actually trying to balance everything that I think it takes to be a DJ today.
Mm-hmm.
And why I say that, it's not enough to just play music and do a good job doing that.
Yeah.
Now I have to work on content
Mm-hmm.
so people know that, oh, I actually do this, so that they could
Right.
consider hiring me for events. And the challenge with being female in that space as well, I am always faced with the balance of like, okay, what is too much? What will look like I'm putting too much out there, or you're trying to sell an image versus what you actually do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you really have to find the right balance or something like that. And
Mm-hmm.
this would be based off of comments you would hear from other people,
Right.
um, where let's look at this with the broad approach to social media, where they would say, okay, those who push more skin or more, of the sexy type clothing would get more
Yeah.
followers.
Yeah.
And for me, I actually didn't want to lead with that, even with content,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's very possible it could increase content a
Yes.
great
Yes.
deal. I just didn't want that to be what will attract people to my page for that reason. So it's deciding what is the right thing to show, what is the right content to put out there
Mm-hmm.
to encourage people to follow your page, but for the reason that you would like them to be there
Yeah.
for. To
Yeah.
know, listen, I am a DJ. I could perform at events. I do this well. It's not just about the fact that you look good doing it, but I don't know. I don't know how else I could be able to show that balance.
Right.
But
It is a
try.
difficult balance to strike,
Yeah.
because and what I've found is that it's about the numbers, the
It is.
content, so you could have, even if it's buy or purchased,
Yes.
or bought followers,
Mm,
12 million followers or how much thousands of followers,
yeah.
but then when you go on, the likes is like 20 likes,
Yes. True.
but the numbers do
But
count, and that's what people look at first and foremost, and then how you look. So
yeah.
it is a balance of striking between, I'm a great DJ because I play well,
Yeah.
So if you listen to me rather
Mm-hmm.
than look at me first,
Mm-hmm.
it is a balance.
But how often, like, what's usually the first approach when they say, oh yeah, I DJ? You're like, okay, how many followers?
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, well, and people don't understand, like, you can reach niche markets as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you may have, let's say, 5,000 followers, but
Mm-hmm.
those 5,000 followers, out of that, they're getting like, let's say, 4,000 likes,
Yes.
as
No.
opposed to 20 likes
Correct.
with 12 million
Correct.
followers, so it's a
Yes.
balance.
I would like to see what my little followers, because I mean, my numbers are not out there, but I do feel the audience that I have,
Mm-hmm.
they engage. Like, I do
Yes.
think, I tell my cousin this, I feel like my engagement would be high when you look at that percentage,
Yeah.
because I feel connected to the people that follow me because they are people that I know. Most of them would be people I know or your past, so you can interact with, and they will encourage me to do more.
Yes, and it's the engagement that's really matters.
So sometimes I like that, as opposed to it's not. It has never really been the drive for me to increase followers, but I do know they in this DJ space they look at that.
Yes.
So as coming back to that question, the challenge really is just balancing maintaining this skill. So you need to practice. I'm not. I really want to work on scratching. I mean, I've been trying to work on scratching for years. For those who don't know, it's a little tricky that DJs tend to do. Work on scratching. Making sure that you're up to date with the songs, hits that people are playing, and because I would like to consider myself open format, that is across different genres. I have to look at the Latin dance piece as well as other dance pieces, providing content and putting content and keeping up with that, and still maintaining your own personal life and a personal social life. It's just generally a lot.
Right. Yeah. It is a lot. Yeah. Okay, so we've spoken about the challenges. So tell me some of the good parts now. What's the best experience? Maybe it could be either the best part about being a female identified DJ in the space, as well as maybe like what has been your best experience in a gig thus far.
All right. I'll answer both. Right. I'll share both. Before I get to the experience, I would like to speak about the being a female in this industry. No secrets, it's a male dominated industry for sure. And I have found myself many times being the only female in the chat, only female on the lineup, only female at practice sessions, because I do have a group of friends where we get together. And I do like to, especially when some of these guys become friends, to learn from them, and I feel happy being in this space and it not be awkward. Right. Just show up, we show up to play music, we interact. Don't mind, some of the jokes will never leave or never die.
Right.
It's expected, it will remain. But what I will say, the huge benefit from that, there are events that I did where they would hire me because I am a female DJ and they wanted to show that example to their daughter. So I remember once doing a 16-year-old birthday party.
Right.
And that was the main reason, like, her mother wanted to do that. And I thought, okay, that was important because I actually don't, as I said, I don't remember seeing any female DJs in my time growing up. Like, of course, I knew, like, as I mentioned, as I said, the Duchess before later on. With the sound, but it's not something that we thought about or you were encouraged to do at all.
Of course not.
Of course not. And also in the international space, I'm also part of a group. This is the International Dance Circuit, sorry. The name of this group would be 50-50 by 2030.
Right.
And the aim of this group would be to have 50% representation of female DJs within that dance space on flyers. So they are hoping that by the year 2030, when we open a flyer for one of these events, like dance events, you would see a mix, like a real 50-50 type mix, which you wouldn't see now. Like most times you're not going to see one. And if you do see one, okay, that's rare.
Right.
So they're really pushing that. A lot of these DJs would be all around the world. I felt quite privileged to be in that group actually. And they're encouraging ways to support each other when they have events. And I remember just this morning or yesterday seeing a flyer where it was actually a full female cast. I'm like, oh, they could pull that off. I can't do that here. It felt like the Latin dance scene at least, but it was nice that they could.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be a part of that and be a part of that push to get that image out there and get increase awareness of the fact that it's actually very normal, it's very acceptable, it is achievable, and you don't have to feel weird about it. Yeah, that's that. And now coming to this, one of my experiences, one of the best experiences I had. This would be in Miami. After playing for the first time, I was invited to a festival. So, in the Latin dance circle internationally, you're part of this bigger family. I see it like that.
Yeah.
And you have congresses in different countries around the world. It's a big deal. So, a lot of people, they might travel to attend this congress. As a matter of fact, as I speak to you, a group of people, about 25 of them, are going to Suriname next week for a dance festival. So, and that actually came from somebody from Suriname coming to the festival that we would tend to have here.
Okay.
So, you know, it's nice to see the whole reciprocity. Sorry. Right. So this event, I was invited to play at Agendr in Miami. I think this would have been either 2018 or 2019. And so I remember my rude awakening when the sets would have been like 3 hours long.
Right.
Which was very different to how I'd play here, because our sets when we play locally would be an hour, 1 hour set.
Right.
So I look at the lineup, I'm like, 3 hours? Okay, fine. So yeah, show up to your thing. And one of the sets I had to play would have been a headphones party.
Okay, yeah.
Beach at the beach. The last one for the event. So they had a party every minute of every second of every day. This one would have been okay. People finish dancing inside at 4 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And we are starting another event at the party at the beach 3 in the morning, actually 3 or 4 to 7, something like that. It was a very long time. I'm like, okay, let me show up. Let's do this. I have my channel, and I had to play salsa. My channel would have been salsa, and I remember thinking, who wants to dance salsa on the beach? That was very hard. It's like running on sand. You know how difficult it could be. I'm like, okay. So I'm there playing salsa, and I'm like, you know what? I think I want to mix something else inside here, you know, but you know, the contract said salsa. So I'm like, okay, what to do? Luckily, the risk of taking the chance to play something else, I knew the promoter well, and I'm like, okay, I don't think you would have a problem. And a friend was like, yeah, no, you go ahead. So I decided to mix things up, and I said I'll play some soca, like, you know, and I said, let me just try it out, just put it out there. And I remember hearing somebody was like they made a song, whoa, I'm like, okay, all right, they look like they like this, bam. And I made this decision at a point in time when I noticed the color. So with these headphone parties, you know, the channel would sync with the color that you see on the headset. So I'm looking around the beach. I'm like, but nobody on red. Nobody's listening to red. And I understand this as a dancer because it's tiring to dance and it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. People want a cool down vibe. Yes. So I played this one soca song. And then I decided to mix a few more since I got that song. Yeah. So, but my head is down at that time. I'm just, you know, now I'm thinking, okay, I just change things up a bit. Still keep smooth soca. So if somebody wants to do some salsa steps, they could still do it and whatnot. At some point, I can't remember which soca song I was playing at that time. But somebody told me, like, look up and turn around, which I didn't do. And when I look up and I turn behind me, I just see everybody on red, doing some electric slide behind. And I am saying to myself, wow, this is one time where the risk was actually worth it. Yes. And I just, I remember that whole moment being so rewarding because it also is very linked to why I enjoy doing this so much. You create this vibe and create this mood, and then I see everybody dancing together, and it really turned into a nice, joyous, fun moment. You know, some people it may have been the first time they heard soca in that moment.
Right.
But it was really nice to see it. And then somebody asked me, "Who's on red?" I'm like, "I'm on red."
No, that's good. That's a good experience.
It was.
To me, as a DJ, it's always great to see people just dancing to your
Yes.
music. So like
Yeah.
knowing that you were bringing joy to a room at that point in
Correct.
time, yeah,
Yeah.
it's an amazing feeling.
It is. It definitely is. And that to me is one of the main joys I get from doing this. Because sometimes you might start, I don't know if it happens to you, it might happen to me. I'll be like, oh gosh, I'm not in the mood to play today, you know?
Yeah.
I'm really not feeling it.
For sure.
But then this is the power of music. From the time I just start doing what you have to do, you dancing to the music and bumping to the music, you're looking at people bumping to the music and you realize, well, I changed my mood in that moment.
Yeah.
I could also do this for a room full of people. You see, somebody may have had a bad day and they decide to show up to this event and then the music just moved them to have a good time. They forget about the bad day. So I really like the power of just being able to change people's moods, create that good time, create that fun experience. And my aim is just to keep getting better at it, maybe even being able to expand the audience that I could be able to do that with and do it well. Because I really, really appreciate the talent that, I would have been blessed with.
Yeah.
And there's always work to do, always work to improve. Oh my gosh, it does not end.
Yeah.
It does not
For
end.
sure.
Like,
for sure.
And so there's always work to put behind it, but I just like the fact that I could do it.
Right. And in terms of preparation, how do you prepare for your events? I know some people, speaking to different DJs, some people like to have everything set. So I'm playing for an hour, so I have my hour set. Or some people just have a guide. They have a guide of, okay, this is the kind of stuff I want to play. And some people just go and be like, you know what? We'll see what the vibe brings.
My honest response to that is anything, all that.
Right.
Everything is said there. It all goes. So depending on the event, there are times I prepare a set, but I never stick to a set.
Right.
I'll prepare a set beforehand for my comfort level, especially if I don't know what to expect. It's my first time. I want to go prepared to have something there.
Right.
And sometimes it may mean, okay, whatever I set is the vibe, people enjoying it, and I maintain that. Or, of course, there are times in the moment I'm like, ooh, I didn't think about that, and you're searching for something else, you veer off this set that you had prepared. But there are times as well, but most times this would happen in a comfortable setting. So an audience that I'm used to playing for, definitely in the Latin dance space, I no longer prepare a set beforehand. But I've spent years and continue to spend that amount of time organizing my library and my crates.
Right, yeah.
So that, I could maneuver easily.
Right, okay.
And with the amount of time I still put behind it, I feel like that is also a never-ending task. Like, you're always organizing your library. I don't know if it's different for anybody else, for you, but I'm always organizing my library. And but there are times as well I would go with an idea. Just I would start with this.
Right.
I think
so like
I would
a guide.
start with this. I would start with this and then see how it goes.
Yeah.
And there are times like some of my best sets would come when I play like that. Like, you just have enough confidence, you could just do it.
Yeah.
And just decide where you're going to start, and then
and figure it out.
From there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna start to wind down now. Okay. So before we do that, what would you say, maybe because as you said, when you were younger, there was basically no representation.
Yeah, I know.
I remember growing up, yes, Alicia the Duchess was pretty much the only female DJ
Yeah,
that we saw. And then we could say that's a little different now, especially with all the DJ courses that's being offered. So there are lots of younger women or girls coming up in this space, which is excellent to see. What advice would you give younger persons who maybe have dreams of becoming a DJ or even entering into the audio space, because it's still very much male dominated?
True.
What advice or what kind of guidance would you give them to, Give them some encouragement.
True. Before I get to the advice, I will say it's actually good to see. This is something else I like, where I see other young female DJs that may follow me as well and send a message, ask a few questions. And I thought, oh, this is so nice. It feels good. Like, I don't think I'm that big out there, but the fact that at least one person might see it, be inspired, reach out to get advice or be encouraged to do something, I'm like, it's worth it. My advice to anybody interested in this space, one, just be mindful it's going to cost a lot of money.
That's good advice.
Jeez, you could do it like I did. I did a bit at a time.
Yeah.
But it is going to cost a lot of money.
Yep. For sure.
And it also requires a lot of time. You really have to love music. I believe you have to do this. You should really love music. And it should not be about the end result. I know some people may see fame attached to it, or the end result for other people. You look at other DJs and say, oh, that look nice, I want to do that.
Yeah.
The path it takes to get there is very challenging, that you must be sure that you love doing it, to set out to do it and maintain doing it. And also, you have to be confident in this space and be sure you know what you're about. Which reminds me of something I would like to share, a joke I would like to share, which may have been linked to challenges, but in the DJ space as a female, so it remind me.
Right.
And be confident about your craft. Do the necessary background work you need to do, classes you need to do to make sure that you are confident in this space. And I say this because when you enter this space, especially as a female, and this is the part that I wanted to mention, you are going to find that a lot of people are going to speak to you as they're schooling you. I didn't ask a question. It happens all the time.
Yeah. Mansplaining.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every single time. And I would be, and there are times, sometimes the person they're not talking much sense sometimes. And I just like, but this is, I guess, the other part to me about being in this space. I exercise grace. I'm not going, I still listen, or like, I would take what you're saying but because I know, and you did your background work, and I know, be able to hold your own in the moment. But many times, and this is something I observed at events all the time, guys would come and play right before me. I did not see anybody whispering in their ear. And from the time I got behind the set, somebody's in my ear, like giving me advice, and I'm just like, you know what, it comes with the territory. So just be mindful that it's going to come. And how I support that, or the advice for that, as I said, just once you're confident in what you do and what you know, you would be able to pick sense from nonsense, basically. Be able to listen to different advice, because you got a lot, and decide what you'd want to take or not.
Yeah.
So that happened to you too?
Yeah, of course. It used to happen more to the beginning.
Right.
I think now maybe it's my face. Maybe my resting face just
I need to develop one of those. I probably smiling too much. Like, listen, come talk to me.
But I think a lot of people have grown accustomed to me now, so they know me, like, oh, okay, I think she could play a little bit. So but in the beginning, there was a lot
really
of the mansplaining.
Yeah.
But,
oh, geez.
Yeah, the mansplaining never stops.
Never.
So,
I think I am also very unassuming. I think people will look at me and wonder, what's she really going to do? I think so. I think I give that off in the beginning. I've seen that happen where they didn't. One, if I tell people I'm a DJ, they're surprised. They're like, what? Really? Okay. And so even in this space, if I say, I'm going to play that, you see, like, okay, like, really, like, what's she going to do? And then this is another thing I like to see. I like to see the change in those expressions when they realize, oh, she could really handle herself. She could do something. Okay, all right. But it's so funny to see. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is an adjustment.
Yes.
You know, and
Yeah.
as you said, at least you handle it with grace,
Mm-hmm.
and you like you just allow them to do their thing. All
Yes.
right, cool.
And to me, it's important to understand personalities around you,
Mhm.
understand just people in general, and that might also be part of the nature for most men,
Mhm.
where it's good that they see themselves doing in that moment.
Right.
So I mean, I try and I would not, I'd allow them to have that moment, and this is a part of me being, as I consider that grace.
Right.
I think is something that most women may have
Mhm.
more than men do. I might be right, might be wrong, but to be able to do exactly that.
Right.
And that is why it's very rare. I think I'll see another guy go to mansplain to somebody else,
Right.
because like the ego is all
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Most times they will probably watch. I'm like, what you coming to tell me? And that is just not me, not who I am. So yeah, it's part of just exercising that grace in the moment.
Mhm.
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
take it with the
Yeah, for
pinch of
sure,
salt.
for sure, for sure. It's good to know that, you know, it's not only one person's experiencing this, but other
Mm-hmm.
women, and that's why community is important, huh?
Sure,
You
yes.
know, because funny story is that I discovered Mel was my actual
Oh
neighbor
yes, that's true.
through a mutual friend. We have lived next door to each
At
other.
an event.
Yes, and someone saying Mel-T, I think she lives next to you. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, there's no DJ living next to me. I wouldn't know this until Mel literally walked from her house to my house, and I was like, hi, I'm your neighbor. So all in all, to say that community is very important,
Mhm.
because what I have found is that locally, yes, we know of the other female DJs, but
Yes.
have we ever met up at an event?
No, yeah.
Have we ever played? Have we
Sure.
ever played at
We did
yes,
actually.
but it's not
To
often.
me, I thought that is when we found out we were neighbors. When we played, I think you and I, we were in a lineup with Charlotte.
Right, yes.
And maybe it's after that, but somewhere in the conversation I heard as well that, oh no, we didn't. We were at that event and probably didn't even know we were neighbors.
No.
And I think I saw your car driving by and you had your sign
Right,
on it.
yes.
And that's why I walk across and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, so that's why community is important. And that's really what we're trying to build with Agendr, because there are a lot of us that we basically existed in silos.
True.
You know, so you are doing your thing, you have your struggles, I'm doing my thing, I have my struggles, not knowing they're very similar struggles.
True.
Where we could meet up as a community and discuss, okay,
Yes.
how are we going to go forward with this, what works, what does
Actually,
not
that'd be
work.
really nice, and I'm glad. So thank you for this initiative. Like I would welcome it like with open arms.
Nice.
Because I also remember in that same event, I mean, I didn't know, I looked up to both yourself and Charlotte. I'm like, okay, well, I'm the newbie in this, let me do my thing. But I remember in the moment wanting to just reach out and get advice and get an idea of what the experience would be from you guys. And I don't know what kept me from, actually, I think an email was sent. Not to you, probably because eventually you and I connected.
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
But maybe that person missed it.
Right.
But like I don't know, I felt the need to just get an idea or understand.
Right.
So I think something like this would provide that space for somebody who's interested and want to get advice and get an understanding of what to expect. So
yeah. And as you said, like an email was sent, maybe they missed it. That happened to me as well when I was starting out. And I, looking at people around, you would send a message, say, hi, I really like what you're doing. If we could have a chat. And there was like silence.
Yes.
Kind of
that's which is why when that happens to me now, like if somebody reaches out, I really, really try. If I miss it, sorry, I really just miss it. But if I do, I think that response is so important. It's like that little bit of encouragement for that person to kind of continue on the path.
Yeah.
And feel welcomed in it and feel like there's a support system, that they could tap into, like,
exactly.
contact. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And I would like anybody to do that. Feel free to reach out. And if I miss it, come again.
Yes, try again. Maybe it went to junk or something, So so one last question I'm gonna ask is because we're starting this, interviewing people for the community to start to build. We want those of you out there to get to know whoever's in this chair or in another
Oh,
chair.
true, yes.
I want to ask you, who will you like us to interview next? Who would you like to see interviewed?
Wow, that's a good one.
A few moments later.
You know what it is? It's not that name's not popping in, you asked me for one. Like I will just rattle off. So like even if we go in the DJ space, it would be nice to see an interview with somebody like Alicia the Duchess, which we both mentioned, especially seeing that she started so early. It's always good to hear her perspective. You have like others, I also would like to hear from those who would have started with vinyl in the past, and then they're battling that challenge with the modern way of DJing and transitioning into it. I would be interested. There are a few singers as well. I would, but I don't know, man. Nadia's in my head. I don't know why.
Nadia
But
Batson?
yes,
All right.
just poppy in there,
right, Nadia,
front and center.
Come in for you, Nadia. Come in.
Just like sometimes some people, I'd like to hear their story. And why Nadia came to mind actually for me, I remember she was one of those artists like way before I was like, oh my gosh, her voice, like she could sing so well. But then and she has been on the scene for so long, like I think it took a while for that, because now you see that command when Nadia could come be on the stage on her own and command that. I think like it took longer than it needed to, in my opinion. But I'm really happy to see like her journey and where she is right now in that space. But I remember in the beginning thinking like, oh yeah, I really like the sound of her voice, and it's really nice to see her like still, in that space today and dominating it and doing her thing and doing much better. Where others who I remember from like back then are not doing it so much.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know how well I did this though.
No, that was excellent. That was excellent.
And then I'm sure when I go, I'll be like, shucks, I should have said this person and that person. Okay. Oh, what's the name of this person that plays the piano?
Joanna?
Really well. Yes.
Piano girl?
Yes.
All right. So
Good.
Joanna?
Yes.
I'll reach out to you.
Good.
Yeah, so you will definitely see some of those coming out. Hopefully soon. I can't put a timeline. But yeah. So thank you so much, Mel.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my neighbor. Yeah, it's been a really great chat. I think we've spent way too long linking up.
Before we do this, right?
Yeah.
People would not believe we live right.
Yeah, and to me, the closer you live together is like the hardest thing to come together. But we'll really try to change that. So yeah, thank you again for being in the hot seat.
Okay, yes.
Telling us about your journey. And yeah, looking forward to just building community together.
Right, yes. And anytime you're ready, I mean, it's just a walk across.
It's a walk across. Yeah. So yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in, and look out for more interviews with the people that you want to see.